Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Fan Behavior in F1 podcast. I'm Zoe. I am here with a under the weather.
I'm the opposite of thriving.
Yeah. Hannah had a little fun last night.
I went out with some friends. It's currently 10:30 in the morning local time. I went to bed at 3:30 a.m. local time. I'm sleepy. I probably could have waited till the summer break I literally haven't gone out.
Yeah.
Like the people I went out with last night, I hadn't seen most of them since my birthday.
Oh, wow.
And I think that might have been the last time I went out
Yeah.
6 months ago.
You definitely have your going out. So I was not, people might be like, why wasn't it's a different friend group.
Yeah.
And also you guys know me. Like
yeah.
I am past my going. I'm not.
I told her that I stayed out till 3 a.m. She was like, oh my God.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have obviously stayed out till 3 a.m., but
it's definitely not preferable.
but it hasn't been. I can't think of when that was. You know, it was. I mean,
that's responsible of you.
It's not even that. We've said this 1,000 times, even in relation to going to F1 races. You can rally much, much, much better than me. I have zero rally gene in my body. Like I'm incapable of rallying, and I'm so easily affected by the slightest bit of being tired or the slightest bit of being hungover. You know, it's just I can't push through.
Yeah. And I had a similar feeling wise in Austin at Coda, and
you pushed through.
I did, but I just don't recommend it.
Thankfully that day in particular, we were sitting for most of the day
in the shade
too. In the grandstands. I don't know that we were.
No, like if I had one of those days when we were in Miami, I would have actually melted.
Right. And that's why we always said it's so important to know yourself before you go to these races and just be smart and actually prioritize going to bed.
It's so important.
Because you don't want to hate your life.
No, you don't.
But Hannah doesn't hate her life now.
No, I don't. I'm a little sleepy. My voice is a little...
But you watched the race, which I think is commendable. You did your job.
Yeah, I had,
Yeah, so
on Friday, Zoe was like, are you good to record right after the race? And I was just like,
I wanted to set because obviously, again, I'm in prime Olympics mode. I am locked in. It is just like the best 2 weeks of my life. Thank God this couldn't have come at a better time.
Totally.
Because now I can just dive, not that I wasn't already, but my summer break will be filled with content.
Yeah.
And so then once F1 comes back, it will feel like it just flew by.
Yeah. And there won't be a lull in what do I do?
Right. But there's a US soccer game this afternoon, so I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't miss it. And
yes, no, I understood.
Yeah.
And look,
you get me.
Sacrifices have to be made.
Well, we're rambling a lot, but we're here to talk about the Belgian Grand Prix back in Spa.
Love it.
What an eventful race!
So good.
We'll get into all of it, of course. I mean, just lots of almost too much happened to really fully, and as you guys always know, we record these right after the race ends, so there's still a lot we don't have all. It's to our benefit that we record right after because it's just straight, thoughts. But we also don't have time to actually, piece it all together. Exactly.
Get the digest from.
Exactly. Okay, but as always, we have to start with just off track.
News of
activities. News of the week. So, Esteban officially signs with Haas. For 2025 and beyond, multi-year deal. That's they keep saying.
So tired of those.
It doesn't mean Jack Diddley squat.
No,
as we're soon probably going to find out with Checo.
Yeah, it means next year he has as of today he has a
he's going to race. He's going to start his race or start his season next year with Haas, and then we'll see what happens. I actually think this is a smart move for Esteban. Of the choices that were available to him, I feel like Haas, they've kind of fallen, since, when was the last Hulk? Was it Austria or Silverstone? I think it was probably Silverstone, his last P6.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think they've scored points since, but they have the potential to be good.
Agreed.
And also putting him up against a rookie, it kind of, in some ways, Ollie could come out and do fantastic right out of the gate, but it kind of doesn't put Esteban in a situation where he's going against like a driver that could
peer.
Yeah. He's going to clearly be the lead driver.
Yeah.
I think that's good for Esteban.
Yeah, I did think it was interesting though. Did you see this graphic of his comparison? He basically just like has been replacing Hulk.
Yeah, it's like
so 2016 Hulk leaves Force India, 2017 Ocon joins Force India, which like is so like that's such a pretend team for me
Force
because
India is now Aston Martin.
Yes.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And then 2019 Hulkenberg leaves Renault, 2020 Ocon joins Renault, and now Ocon is taking
Haas. It's kind of similar to, I think they've done this similar comparison, Daniel and Carlos. Because like Carlos went to Renault and then Daniel went to, Carlos went to well, they've all been to like the same places, I guess not in the same order, but like Daniel or Carlos left Red Bull to go to Renault to go to McLaren and so did Daniel, did the same path. Now, obviously, Daniel's not going to Ferrari, but
imagine Daniel and Lewis at Ferrari,
or Daniel and Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, but Lewis is already there, and Charles literally Ferrari. We've talked about this.
It's not going to happen, but it is funny when the drivers kind of follow a similar path. Yeah. Anyway, so I think it'll be interesting to see. Interesting is the word of the day.
Yeah, interesting.
It's just going to be interesting. I'm excited to see Ollie race. I think for all of our qualms, let's say with Esteban does deserve to be on the grid.
Agreed.
He deserves to be on the grid. He got points today. Like he did a great job. So I think it's good for all involved. And then this is kind of more recent, but I've been seeing in recent days that I think it's looking, we've said this before, but now it's looking very likely that Carlos will sign with Williams.
Oh, really?
Yes. And that there was a photograph that someone took of his dad and his cousin / manager.
Carlos does.
Leaving the Williams hospitality this weekend. I also read somewhere, again, this is all reports, rumors, but that Carlos has in this Williams contract, there's like a clause that he could leave next year from Williams if a Red Bull or a Mercedes seat open up.
Okay.
So, of course, he has all the power. He can decide what he wants. Mm-hmm. Williams would be so fortunate to have Alex and Carlos. That would be such a great pair up for them.
Agreed. So
I feel like in this break, we're going to get Carlos to Williams.
Yeah, I just need an answer.
Yeah. I mean, the chips are starting to fall.
I know.
But
the Williams move, I think, is really exciting.
I think it's good for all involved. I mean, of course, Carlos, it's not, I'm sure he would have preferred something higher up the grid. Sure. But I think all considered, it's good. You're in the Merck family. Mm-hmm. I think because also reports are looking like Kimi Antonelli is going to sign with Merck, which is going to be that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it could go fantastic. It could go, he could have a real hard time because he skipped F3 to go to F2 and he's only done once this is his first season in F2. So then it's like, it's just going to be wild. A lot. But let's say Kimi doesn't do very well or something, like
Carlos could.
Yeah. Like it gives you room to kind of maneuver. Mm-hmm. Anyway, more team news. Mattia Binotto is back on the grid with Audi, Sauber, whatever you want to call it. Sure. Like he was a fun and interesting character. Was he the best in terms of running Ferrari? I'm not so sure.
I'm genuinely not sure.
I'm not sure. In fact, some of the darkest days were under Mattia.
Yeah, could have been a coincidence. But probably not.
Probably not. I mean,
But, different team.
Forward. Yeah, different team, I suppose. That part of me did think to myself, would this have swayed? Because obviously Mattia signed Carlos to Ferrari. So part of me wondered, is that going to make Carlos want to join Audi?
Well, I remember because we texted about this and I was like, because I don't know what Mattia's leadership was actually like because obviously I didn't drive for Ferrari.
Yeah.
But it made me wonder like if it was a plus or a minus for him with Albie thriving. Did he not want to work with Mattia again?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. He could have been, that could have deterred him from going.
Deterred.
I will not be deterred. So that means that, so that'll be interesting to see. I mean, Sauber, Audi, whatever the hell you want to call it, has just been nowhere this season.
Quite
we'll
literally.
get to them, but I mean,
Zilch.
it's just been rough going for them.
I know.
So have to see. And then another, principal news, Bruno Famine, Alpine principal, is out. Second year in a row that the Alpine team principal has been outed, or has been ousted, not outed, at Spa.
Yeah. Cute tradition. Also, you cannot make the kind of change you want to make in 1 year.
No.
Otmar said this, and he's totally right. Yeah. Like, you need to give it a beat.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying, like, maybe it's still, like, you need someone new, and that's fine. But, like,
yeah.
It just doesn't work this way.
Well, and also now it's sounding like Alpine is going to ditch the Renault engines and go with Mercedes engines starting as early as next season, which to me, I'm kind of like, the whole point of, I mean, I know it's Alpine, it's not Renault, but you're a works team. Like, you're you are technically Renault, and now Renault's not even going to supply your engines. You're basically, I mean, we already know that engine's the worst engine. Yeah. 100%. There's no even like competition there.
Right.
But to me, I'm kind of like, why don't you sell the team and give it to Andretti?
Right. It's like, that's all anyone wants to have. It's like, okay, how much more like do you need?
Yeah.
Just sell it to Andretti.
You got to get Colton Herta coming in.
It's just like all I want. I just need it to come true.
Yeah. So the prophecy is fulfilled.
Yeah.
So anyway, interesting for Alpine. Again, just more struggles. Though they did have their fun Deadpool Wolverine.
I did love that
this weekend, which was fun.
Ryan Reynolds is a genius.
When are we gonna get the Chiefs livery?
Imagine. See, I think that's what's so difficult about, or like where it's not the Chiefs, it's Travis and Patrick. So like, can we just do like their liveries of their jersey?
But it's not Ryan Reynolds. I mean, Ryan.
No, I know.
You know what I mean?
But,
it's still,
yeah, that's fair.
It's still the same.
Imagine.
Or get like Taylor
Swift
livery, her new album. That would be cool.
A Chiefs and a Taylor Swift livery in the same weekend. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So good.
That would be so fun. When she re-releases Reputation, which I'm wearing my Reputation shirt, give us a like kind of her album cover.
Yeah.
That could be a very cool livery because it'd be white.
Do you know
and
what
black.
would be really great though is if that weekend she did the livery like for the F1 Academy team.
Oh, for
and
sure.
then
the
Chiefs do the Alpine.
Yeah.
F1.
Yeah. The
perfect. Glad we got
Academy one would obviously it's much more likely to win because Abby Pulling is the Alpine Academy driver, and as we see, like Alpine's not even coming close to a podium. So anyway, and then the final piece of news is Rick Allen. For those who don't know, Daniel Ricciardo and Josh Allen, NFL quarterback, they're both sponsored by Beats.
Yeah.
And they did this collaboration with Beats.
So wild.
Putting out headphones, but also just sort of like making a fun commercial of them purchasing
with
a
like
racehorse.
A really open-ended ending. Like it just kind of ended.
Yeah.
And I was like, is there a part 2?
It was, if you haven't watched it yet, it's on
It's really
YouTube.
good.
It's like 6 minutes.
I think they'd be fun on SNL together
as a duo.
Yeah. And then Haley can be the musical guest.
Yeah. They are in love with each other.
It's so cute.
100%.
They really are obsessed with each other. Rick Allen is a perfect name.
Yeah. They have merch.
Yeah.
It's just peak. It's very much, I mean, this is the kind of energy that we're hoping that either Travis or Patrick Mahomes could bring to F1 with a driver. And we haven't fully gotten that quite yet, but maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe someday. Not to be like a total idiot, but who's taking Esteban's seat? Do we know?
We don't know. We don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, we can talk about, because we'll get there.
I'm just because I was trying to understand who would be who would be Travis's Daniel.
Could be Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened yet, so I just don't think that that's the right vibe. Like I think they're buds, but it's not the same.
They did have the interaction with the Taylor Swift concert.
100%. I'm not saying it's not possible, but like
no.
Josh and Daniel are in love. I almost said Josh and Rick, but they're in love.
They're so in love.
And I think Travis and Pierre are friends.
Yeah.
And it's different.
Yeah. It's
it's different. So anyway.
You love to see it.
I also, I have 2 other.
Yeah, please share.
Valtteri's Olympic.
Oh, so good.
I'm so obsessed with him.
Yeah, Valtteri, for those who didn't see, they did a stake, which continues to kill. Thankfully, they're killing in one area, which is
they were doing
media,
a really good job.
And they had Valtteri trying all these different, Olympic sports.
His rhythmic gymnastics was so good. It just reminded me of that episode of Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah, and the skateboarding.
Yeah, as hard as I thought it would be.
And I'm
the trampoline.
I'm
was
worried. Good. I guess we could. I mean, should we have a conversation now, or do we want to save it? I kind of wanted to save it for the Checo conversation.
We can save it because the other thing I wanted to, I feel like got a lot more attention but is that Lewis shared Hailey Bieber's W cover, which I saw, and I think this is true, that he's a part owner in the magazine.
Oh, okay. Well, and they're also very good friends.
Yeah, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually TG1F that started and I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense. Thank you. Because at first I was like, that's kind of random.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do feel like people were like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that they were friends, and also that he's maybe a part owner in that magazine.
It is interesting to be like, here's this woman who's pregnant.
Well, because he's just like, I mean, he doesn't need to put context with it, but it was just like, okay. Yeah. So random. Anyway, that's all.
Very funny. Okay. Anything else before we get into the weekend?
No.
So we got word ahead of the weekend that Max was going to be taking a grid penalty, 10 place grid penalty, and Yuki was also going to be taking a grid penalty, 60 place grid, or 60 or 66. And actually, I don't know if you saw the video of Yuki being told that. I think it was in the after practice interview. I think it was Will Buxton was like, yes, you're taking a penalty. You're taking a 60 place grid penalty. And Yuki goes, oh, Jesus. Which obviously doesn't matter. Like it could be 100 place grid penalty. It doesn't matter. You're still starting 20th. So they changed
which is so
bunch
funny.
of parts in his car.
It's just so weird.
I know. It is kind of strange that you can get away with that you can do whatever you want, but it's only 20. Whereas, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway.
So we knew going into it that, I mean, obviously we love Yuki, but he was never going to be in the conversation anyway. So with Max though, because he's done this 2 years in a row where he's taken the grid. This is a classic track where drivers will take a grid penalty because with the allocation of engines, most drivers have to take a penalty at some point. And Spa is a good one to take it at because it's easy to pass. Yeah. So Max chose to take it here, and in the past 2 seasons, he's just flown through the field. I mean, it's been like easy as
I mean, by like lap 7, he's in the front.
And I think he won last year. I don't remember the exact time, but he just won by I think Checo came in
like 11
minutes.
Last
year. No, yeah, I mean, it was like crazy.
Yeah.
I remember vividly, like a fan took a video of Max passing and then the time between Max and
I remember
Checo coming by.
It was a while.
So I think the question was, will Max be able to do something similar here, or is it going to be a lot harder? Obviously, because it's a lot closer of a season and the McLarens look very fast, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So we get to quali. Now, it was raining basically throughout the entire quali, enters the whole way through. It was kind of a weird qualifying.
I agree.
Like no shocking Q1 exit. I wrote both Haas's got out in Q1, which I think was kind of surprising just because they've been like Hulk has been good and stuff, but they were both out. And then with Q2, the timing for some of the drivers when they'd set their laps, like Daniel set his final lap with like 2 minutes left. Yeah. And the grid was obviously ramping up. They like got that complete, I think, and Checo got into Q3 by like 0.003 of a second, I think.
Oh my God.
Against Albon.
Yes, you're right.
And if VCARB had just gotten the strategy or the call right with Daniel to, because he was doing well, to have him set his lap at the optimal time, he would have knocked Checo out of qualifying, which wouldn't have really mattered for Checo's race, but could have mattered for Daniel's race. But Checo made it into Q3,
well,
which was a something he hasn't done in a while.
No,
so
yes, you're right.
That was a good call.
Due.
Yeah, we gotta. But then, I mean, Max is just so good in the rain, and he got pole by 0.6 of a second, which is crazy. Charles came out of I mean, I guess I don't like when they kept like all the graphics are like Charles Leclerc gets pole position in Spa.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's like no.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah, no. Charles got P2.
He's starting the race first in pole, but I feel like despite the penalty, Max should still get pole position.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe someone will correct me and say why he.
I mean, it's just, again, it's a technicality nonsense.
I hate technicalities.
Like, Charles did not get pole.
Right.
He's starting in P1 because Max is taking a penalty.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah,
semantics.
It's fine. It's fine. But Charles Leclerc really came out of nowhere with that one. And really, I mean, we've said this before. Charles has just been nowhere. Ferrari in general has just been kind of like, they haven't really been around since Monaco.
Yeah.
And
do you think it's because Charles brought the jeans back this weekend that he did well?
I don't know.
I hope they're not
also,
lucky.
This is a side note. I don't know if you've seen it. Oh yeah, I think you did. But there was, I don't know how people got this footage, but there was all this footage of all the planes arriving to Spa, and so you could see who all the drivers were flying in with, and so like George and Lewis were together, but then we got the content of Daniel and Alex and Lando, and Daniel sharing his candy.
It looked like he was handing out Mentos. Yeah.
100% Mentos. The way he was eating them was just very Mento vibe.
The tube.
We know our candy.
And it's just like waiting patiently.
Yeah, but I like that. Those are kind of the kinds of things I always find so interesting because
it's really creepy. But I love that.
And it's like who decides to go with who goes with who and why and like do certain people not want to fly together? I just always find that to be interesting.
I know, and I just like I don't know. I just part of me wonders too, like, were they just like quiet listening to music, or were they like talking that shit on people? Like, I just want to know what the conversations on the plane are like.
The combination of Alex, Lando, and Daniel certainly seems like there was chatting, there was laughing, there was stuff going on. You know,
maybe some JPEGs.
We haven't gotten those in a while.
I know, but
anyway, so Charles Leclerc obviously gets pole position. I say it in quotes, and I do want to give credit to Checo. I mean, a lot of people brought up, he gets P3, technically P2 or whatever, but he's still 6/10 behind Max. Like, that's quite the gap between teammates, but a lot better than before.
Totally.
We do have to say, and he set that time on used tires. He didn't have a new set of inters. So we have to give
I'm so glad
credit.
your brain works like that. It's so helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, again, nothing else super crazy.
No, I thought it was just kind of
it was
like
kind
nothing
of
happened that I wasn't.
I mean, it was raining,
about.
So you would think it would be kind of more interesting, but there were
no
no red flags,
I guess
no crashes.
The Charles part of it all surprised me, but otherwise it was just kind of just your average.
It was your average qualifying. No shocking exits, nothing like that.
No,
it would have been crazy just optically, as I said, if Daniel had knocked Checo out. That would have been something to behold. Okay, anything else before we get to the race?
No.
Okay, to the race. So I was going to say, in what I feel like has never happened, we had a bright and sunny race day.
It was sunny. I was certain it was going to be raining.
I mean, they had said leading up to the weekend that it was going to be sunny on race day, but I feel like you never know.
Well, I mean, here they said it wasn't supposed to rain yesterday, and then it did. So.
Right. And I'm very happy for all the fans that got to enjoy a race.
It looked like a lovely day.
Yeah, it was like 75 degrees Fahrenheit.
God, how nice.
Yeah,
We've
beautiful.
never been at a race that's below 80 degrees.
I know. That's why we got to go. Well, if we go to Vegas, we will be in.
When we go to Vegas.
Yes.
I know. I'm so excited for it to be cold.
So obviously Charles Leclerc's in pole position, and pole position in Spa is like not a great place to start because the slipstream that you get going around that first turn is pretty powerful. And so I think a lot of people felt like Checo was going to take the lead in lap one. Not the case.
They were incorrect.
Lewis took the lead. I was like, yes.
That was fun.
Get in there, Lewis. I mean, I don't even know where we want to start. Like,
I don't know.
I feel like Oscar was on Checo for a good chunk of that race.
Yeah.
Checo, okay, let's just take it kind of maybe by driver.
Sure.
Let's talk about Checo.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, had a good rate or had a good qualifying or decent qualifying. I don't even know. Like, it's hard to even gauge now. Like, what is good, what is bad?
But here's the thing. For what he's been doing,
yeah,
he did well. I mean, I think that's what's hard is like we can't like compared to what he should be doing or what the expectation is of it. this is what he should be doing. So I don't feel like I'm just like, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do.
And this is the problem. Like last season, I feel like there was that gap, that 6/10, 5/10 gap between Max and Checo, but because the Red Bull was so good, Checo would still qualify like P2 or P3. It didn't, right. But that gap typically in most conditions and on most tracks, that's the difference between first and fifth or something, you know? So it's like they're being exposed a lot more by that gap now than they were last year. But you start in second.
I know.
And you finish eighth. Now, I felt like he didn't have the optimal strategy. They pitted him quite early in I think the second pit stop because it was Max and Checo. And I think I don't think they wanted Checo holding up Max any longer. So I think they were like, well, let's just have him pit. And then that kind of solves our problem.
Yeah, let's just screw him over.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was like a complete total failure, but it was like probably not optimal. But it's just not. He did get fastest lap.
I wrote, where did I write it down? Perez got fastest lap and 8th. LOL.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the thing though. We're doing this. Well, he got fastest lap. He qualified P3. It's like,
he got fastest lap because he was 25 seconds or whatever ahead of Alonso, you know, who was doing a one stop. Like, it was just
treacherous.
And so I think, now it's summer break. Actually, I'm going to look at, we've talked about before how there were the reports that if Checo was more than 100 points behind Max at the summer break, and he was already going, even if Max DNF'd and Checo won the race, he still would have been like 125 points or something behind Max.
Wow.
So going into the race, he was still going to be 100 points. But let's see right now. Okay, so Max has 275.
Okay.
Checo is 129. So that's 145 points, 146 points.
Sure.
I think that's right. I'm not a mathematician.
I'm certainly not going to try and do it
but
right now.
Even more shocking, I mean, that's pretty shocking, but kind of worse is the fact that Max is in first and Checo's in eighth in the standings. George passed Checo today with that win.
Wow.
So, yeah. I mean, he's 11 points behind George in seventh.
Not good.
Not good. So begs the question. We've heard reports about will Checo be replaced? Now, what I found interesting, this is interesting to me, was with this VCARB strategy fumble during qualifying, Daniel not setting the lap time when he should. I thought, oh, he's going to be pissed. He's going to come into the, because it's like another week.
Yeah.
Another call that just like, why are you screwing me when I'm actually performing well, but I have nothing to show for it? He was very
cool as a cucumber.
Fine. He's like, I thought, what did he say? He was like, I'm thinking back fondly on qualifying. And he's like, I'm not happy with 13th, but like, it wasn't a bad call. He basically was like, I understand the thinking of why we set the lap because they thought it was going to rain more. And he's like, I don't blame them for it, blah, 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 blah. I was like,
yeah, even in like his like explanation story on Instagram, story, he was like very he complimentary.
Also, this is another thing with, when Daniel has a good performance, he posts on his grid.
Yes.
When he has a okay, fine, decent thing, story. Terrible, no
Nothing.
Post.
Until the end of the weekend, and he's like, wasn't what we wanted this weekend.
Yeah, even then, like he didn't post after Hungary.
It's curious.
And so I'm kind of like, what do you know? You know,
so he knows so much.
He knows something.
Yeah.
He knows something.
And Lando and Alex know too, because they flew in together.
So that's interesting to me.
Interesting.
And I think Daniel had he had a good race. I felt like he did well considering the circumstances and the situation and stuff and where he started. So, so that there's that question of, is it going to be Daniel? There have been reports that I guess they're doing like a filming day this week or they're supposed to do it with like Liam, Daniel, Yuki, and people are like, they're going to use it as like a shootout test. I'm like, you're going to use a filming testing day that's what's going to determine whether Liam or Daniel. I'm like, come on. Like, that's dumb.
See, I kind of thought that like, if anything, if they're going to make a change, they'll do it. So that's when Netflix is there.
Well, or also just I feel like you can't let that decide. That should not sway your opinion.
But Red Bull's a marketing platform. I mean,
no. I'm saying you shouldn't use this testing day. You shouldn't use Liam versus Daniel in this thing to determine whether. I mean, that's stupid.
Yeah.
You can make your decision, and we said this before. Like, Liam's a great driver. Liam may well be better than Daniel ultimately, but this is not the situation for. I think it would be so stressful for Liam. It's so stressful anyway. Even if it was the beginning of a season and you're coming up against Max, that's stressful. But now you're coming in like, this other guy didn't do well. We're potentially going to lose the constructors. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like,
Godspeed.
That's
it's
too
like,
much.
You've done this already. So don't do it again.
That's too much. Let Daniel, it's kind of like sink or swim. Like, it either works for you or it doesn't. And then adios. But like, it's just not, I don't think it's the right call for Liam. So
I'm also curious, like, the rumor, because I really just always thought this was nonsense, but the rumor about Max going to Mercedes is really swirling again. And I just don't see it ever happening. But I also never thought Lewis would go to Ferrari. And so
I think it could happen.
That's crazy.
I think it
like
could
this
happen.
like for 2025.
I don't think for 2025.
Oh, okay.
But
well, yeah, I mean, I could see it happening in the future, but
especially with the regulation change and stuff, and the Ford engine coming in, and how does Max feel about that?
Okay, but that's so interesting because, I mean, I guess who knows what's going to happen to Mercedes, but like, if he goes in and if he changes teams in 2026, he doesn't have like a lot of options.
Well, he could.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I think he can kind of go wherever he wants.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a LeBron James,
that's silly me.
He's going to take anyone's going to make room for Max Verstappen.
That was silly of me.
No, it's okay.
Sorry. I'm literally tank's almost empty. Also, I love that your dad loves Max now.
Oh yeah. So actually, news on the street.
News of the week, we forgot.
My dad likes Max. And actually I was ate with them last night, and Max is his third favorite driver behind George and Yuki now.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. Because Max, he said he respects that Max doesn't give a F.
That's what I've always said.
And especially recently with sort of all the weird people saying you can't sim race and sort of like stop cursing. And he's just like,
turn your ears off.
I don't care. Just shut up. I'm doing my thing. So
yeah, I'm just here to race. Leave me alone.
So yeah, Max is his top 3 now, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay,
That's
so
fun,
but back to Checo.
Okay,
so do you think this week we'll get an announcement? They say also they're having a meeting tomorrow. You know, Christian, Helmut, probably VCAR people. I feel like they've had to have the conversation. I mean, it's obviously not going to be like, all right, well, so now let's talk about it.
Yeah.
They've talked about it, but do you think we're going to get?
I think it's the most likely it's ever been that we would be getting something this week.
I think it's going to happen. I don't see a world in which Checo continues. I don't know Liam or Dan. Like, I don't know, but like, I think the likelihood of Checo being out, and it kind of fits. It kind of, again, we said this 1,000 times. Like, it kind of solves problems for them as a whole, because you get Liam in, who you've wanted to get in. Mm-hmm. You see how Daniel can do. You get that question answered. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Now, if Checo gets dropped, do we think he's going to get signed somewhere else for 2025? And his options as of right now look like they could be Audi or Alpine. What are we thinking?
I think he could get picked up. But I also don't know. I guess I don't know who else is in the conversation. So because Valtteri's definitely out.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think Valtteri was kind of Williams's second option should Carlos choose to go someplace else. Because I've seen some reports about how Valtteri was spotted, talking with James or leaving the hospitality
getting coffee
or whatever.
Valtteri, it's James.
Valtteri, it's James. And
I love that made its way back into the press conference.
Oh yeah, but did you see the So Predictable Thomas?
No.
Okay. I'll save it I'll save it.
Okay.
We're all over the place. I'm just gonna wrte that down so I don't forget.
I'm so sorry, guys. This is why you listen to us, right?
Yeah. So Valtteri was kind of in contention for that. Williams. I mean, we know Logan's out. We know Joe is out. We know K-Mag's out.
Yeah.
I think those 3 are certainly gone. Mm-hmm. Jack Doohan has been thrown around as an Alpine. Yeah. Mick Schumacher has been thrown around with Alpine.
Sure.
I think you would choose Checo over those 2.
I think so.
I mean, especially with what Checo brings financially and all that stuff. I kind of see him at Sauber. I kind of
I
like
see
the
that
idea
too.
of Nico and Checo. I do feel like Audi wanted someone young to kind of be like the face for the future. And obviously Nico, I think is like 36 and Checo's 34. So it's not like, I mean, they could race for a while, but they're not your guys.
It's not the fountain of youth they were maybe looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like building a car, you have two very experienced drivers, solid drivers. You're not going to have the rookie mistake. I think it actually makes sense in a lot of ways.
Well, and just from like a, biased personal perspective, I'd rather him drive with Hulk than with Pierre. Like I want someone more exciting to drive with Pierre. Like no disrespect to the Checo fans.
More just like social media.
Totally.
Gen Z vibe.
Exactly.
For sure. So
like I don't even know if Jack and Pierre would be a fun dynamic.
I think they
much.
would. And then imagine if we got Jack, then we'd have 3 Australians and a Kiwi and an honorary Aussie on the grid. Wow. I also have to say, I was going to not say this publicly, not that it doesn't matter, but it's now my goal. I'm going to the Australian GP next year. I'm going to make it happen.
Okay. Can I come?
Of course you can.
Okay.
But I'm just letting you know, I'm going to do it. So you can come or not.
I'll start saving.
But I mean, I'm putting it out there for.
No, I understand. But you're going to go whether someone sends us or not.
I think so.
Yeah. So I need to start saving just
I want to go so badly.
I know.
These are my people.
These
are my drivers.
I want to go back to Australia so bad.
These are.
And you know how much I hate flying, but I'm willing to get into a metal tube for 20 hours.
Let's go. We have
Qantas,
to go. Qantas,
please.
We need to go to that Glamour on the Grid.
Oh, so good.
We need to be around our people who will understand, who will match our freak.
Exactly.
They will match our freak. Because people are just, every day we're just losing people that are able to match our freaks. And the Australians would bring it for us.
Absolutely, they would. Yeah, okay. I'm really excited.
So
we'll have to talk to our people about this.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Our person.
Yeah. So I hope this is as a Daniel Ricciardo fan, we went through.
Wait, you like Daniel Ricciardo?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
We went through something very similar a couple years ago with the McLaren. This was the time when Daniel got dropped from McLaren.
Mm-hmm. He still has light in his eyes though, and that's so
Checo?
Good. And excuse me. Keep going.
No, I'm just saying I sympathize or empathize with the Checo fans.
Oh, absolutely.
And with Checo, it is never fun to see your driver just crumbling and not able to figure it out.
Well, and Red Bull's such a pressure cooker. He's just in the stage where it's just there's too much pressure. He can't.
It's not the right
get
car
ahead.
for him.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not good. And so I would like to see Checo get a second chance because I do think he deserves it. And I just
have a hard time thinking that Checo, if he does get dropped by Red Bull, that he wouldn't drive next season. I just don't see a world that exists. But
I think I think given the people that are also in contention for these seats, he has a good case to build, despite the fact that maybe he hasn't performed so well. And for Audi, they get a race winner in their car.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's probably a good thing to sell. So anyway, we'll obviously keep you abreast with any Red Bull news that we find but be careful. As we've said 1,000 times, sources matter
so much.
Check your sources.
Yeah.
And don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Definitely fact check.
Quickly on Joe, just a tough one.
Well, he was just scooting along, and then I just I literally, as he was just kind of rolling to a stop, I wrote Joe DNF ? And then it was nope, he's still going, and then he wasn't anymore.
Tough.
That was my driver this week. God love him.
He does his best. You're gonna have a great career in a different category, a different series, Joe, and just keep fighting on.
Yeah, I'll miss him though, especially during Secret Santa. He's always so sweet and grateful.
Oh yeah, what did he get last year? Oh, he got something from Yuki. No. He got from Charles Leclerc. He got the calendar. He got the Bottas calendar. Remember? And he was like, "What the hell?" No, but he gave Yuki the Chinese cookbook and the apron and stuff.
Yeah. I can't wait for Secret Santa.
I know. It's always fun.
It is fun.
Okay, let's talk about Max.
Okay.
Not so easy for Max.
Which is okay. He seemed fine.
He was trying to get through. I can't remember, for a large part of the race he was maybe behind George or someone, Carlos, I don't remember. And then he gets behind, I think after the second pit stop, he's behind George, and George passes Checo. And then Max and Checo are behind each other. And then basically for the end of the race, Max is trying to fight off Lando.
Yeah.
Which he did. Something is amiss. Something is gone wrong.
Yeah.
Because he was in fourth or started the race in fourth, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lost some places at the start. His starts have been rough.
Yeah.
And that's what's been costing him. Oscar keeps kind of getting him at the start. His strategy, they kept it out very long. They didn't pin him at the right time. They did that with Carlos too.
Yeah.
Not his fault, but not the best weekend for him.
Yeah.
And Max got fifth, which I think was probably, again, like 11th to fifth is good. That's for anyone else, that's a solid race. And when his teammate went second to eighth, like obviously comparatively. But I enjoyed the fact that he couldn't just breeze his way, even to a podium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let alone the win. So congrats to Max for that achievement. And I mean, he's fine.
Oh, he's was fine. So chill. And even on the radios and stuff, I mean, it was just, he knew that it wasn't his day. And he's also really quick to just be like, look, I'm still going to drive my ass off, but like, it's just not going to happen today.
Yeah, it's not going to happen today. Okay, so then it started happening where people thought it was going to be a 2-stop race for certain. And most people did a 2-stop race, but George Russell and Alonso, I should say. And Alonso, that call also helped him get points. Otherwise, he would have been out of the points. George said, let's do a 1-stop.
He said, yeah, but have a do. I got it.
Boy, did it pay off.
He really did.
For him. Now,
because he's so confident about his tire strategy that I got nervous it would
not work out for him.
Yeah.
It was, I have mixed feelings, obviously, as a Lewis Hamilton fan. And because Lewis got the lead at the start. He had the lead. He had the advantage. He was so much faster than everybody else. And this, again, I mean, this is a race where George, the strategy call was the reason George won, right? Was George the faster driver? Not necessarily, but George, the strategy was right. And that is what happens. And we say this all the time. It's like, you can drive as well as you can, but it's not always gonna, strategy's got to, fall in your favor.
Yeah.
I did worry that they were going to do a switcherooski, but then you had Oscar breathing down their necks, which was crazy.
So good.
And it was just so good. The end was so exciting.
I don't remember seeing like just them all. You could see them all at the same time.
And not just those three. Then you also had, I think it was, I don't remember, what was who came in fourth? Charles?
I think so. I didn't take a picture.
I think it was Charles, Max, and Lando, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Or maybe Carlos. I don't know where Carlos... No, Carlos finished in seventh because he passed Checo. Fourth, fifth, and sixth, and they were bunched up super tight too. Yeah. It was just like exciting racing. Spa's literally PSA, Formula One, never take Spa off the calendar. Never,
it's the best.
Never. I know they don't provide you the monetary value that you're looking for, like Miami or Vegas,
but it provides the racing we're looking for.
Great racing. It is a historic track. It is a beautiful scenery. It's just, don't remove it. Please, Jason. Please, Jason.
Also, we didn't talk about the fun run / walk around the track. I'd like to talk about that at some point. Can we just earmark
for
that?
Antoine?
Yes.
Yeah. Go for it.
Oh, I got the impression that everybody was like, it was a run / walk. And then I just saw, I recognize this photo was out of context, but then I just saw Esteban on his scooter.
A lot of people were on bikes and stuff. Scooters,
okay.
yeah. So
I was just trying
to
understand.
For those who don't know, Pierre Gasly does a like run in honor, run, walk, scooter, bike. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
in honor of his friend Antoine, who passed away 5 years ago now, I think, in an F2 race. And Pierre always puts flowers in the spot sweet. Where the crash happened. And
I feel like the only coverage I saw was the large group photo of everyone about to start running and then Esteban on a scooter. And it felt from those two isolated photos,
you're like, what's going on here?
Why aren't you participating?
Right.
But he was. And so I just wanted to check on that.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the ending was just crazy.
Also, did you see Oscar's pit stop when he yeeted the tire?
Oh my gosh! Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah,
poor guy. Yeah. He is in pain.
Yeah, I mean he had some strength to keep himself upright and keep the car from keep it stopped.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're in summer break because he's gonna need a rest.
What are you doing? I mean, obviously he didn't intentionally do it.
Sure.
but that was
wild.
crazy.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Well, you've seen the clip of the guy that, I think it's Lance, that when the guy falls, Lance comes in too hot. I think it was when they were, what were they between Force India and Aston Martin?
No idea.
Yes, you do.
BWT?
We know this. They were their sponsor, but what was their team name? Oh my God, I'm having a
Pink?
total brain fart. I'm looking up Lance Stroll right now.
I literally don't remember at all.
It was when Checo and Lance were teammates.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
No, I'm just trying to jog my memory.
Especially in my current state, there's just no chance I can find it in the archives.
Guys, I'm having a Racing Point.
Ah, yes.
Racing Point.
I literally said pink. Never the right idea.
George getting out of the car, running over to his team. I mean, George is just such a meme every single time.
It's incredible.
Is so memeable.
I do think this is the most excited he's been for one of his wins. I mean, he was buzzing.
So happy. So just overjoyed. It's
when he's just so goofy.
I know,
when he gets his trophy,
I know,
and he lifts it up and he hops a little bit.
I know, and he's the thing that we always laugh is he like is on the podium. He's pointing to his teammates and he gives the thumbs up. He's yeah, he's a politician. Yeah, and he's also just not. Nothing ever feels so natural or like comfortable. It just all feels not staged. It's just funny. Everything's funny. If it wasn't
George, it would feel like it was staged.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it feels satirical almost.
Right. Yeah.
But when he was like, oh, yes. I was like, oh, good. And then I just love that we gave a moment for just the comms. There was no background noise. There was no communication. It was just like, woo! What did he say? You guys are the best. Come on. And then it sounded like he said something about the girls and the guy, or the, come on, guys and girls, something like that. I was just like, okay, sweetie.
That's funny. Lewis was pissed.
Yeah.
He was pissed. And he said in the
Was he mad
room,
at himself?
He said in the interview with Gunter, which we also should talk about how Gunter did the
I love it when he
interviews.
pops up for the interviews.
But Lewis said that he had life on his tires in each stint. Basically kind of alluding to like, I could have done the one-stop race.
Shoot.
And why did they choose to do, but again, as we've said 1,000 times, like the strategy calls matter and they make the difference. And I think they were all surprised that the one-stop worked.
Yes.
By the way, did you notice that with like 8 laps to go, Valtteri was in the points and Valtteri pitted? Did you notice that?
No.
Yeah. Now it could have been, I wasn't paying attention to his tires, and he may have gone on the same compound and then he needed to pit for a new compound, because I was like, why are you pitting right now?
Yeah.
That was interesting. But as I mentioned, Alonso also did the one-stop race, which paid off. They got points too. But yeah, Lewis was not thrilled. I think he probably felt like that was one that got away from him.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. And I was really hoping for a Lewis, Charles, Oscar podium.
Yeah,
like that would have just been so great for me personally.
Yeah.
George is great too. I'm not,
of
but
course.
for the personal standings and rankings.
Yeah, we're a biased podcast.
We're a biased podcast.
Fine.
But given potential what could happen over the summer break, like I am not losing hope of my dream podium of Lewis, Charles Leclerc, and Daniel Ricciardo.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
And then the cool down room with just Lewis and Oscar sitting there, and my dad was like, 2 introverts in a room, no words are going to be spoken.
I was so uncomfortable.
I don't think they were uncomfortable.
But I was just like, somebody say something, because I like hearing them.
Yeah, you want to hear them say things.
And then I also knew that George was just going to come in there like a tornado. And so it's like, where is he? And sure enough, I just started hearing clapping, and I was like, oh, here he comes.
Here he comes. Yeah, they were just, obviously, I think Lewis would have been a little bit more chatty if he had a better race. Mm-hmm. Oscar's never really going to say much regardless. No. So that's what we got.
It did look at some point, and I meant to rewind it because I don't know what Lewis was saying, but the face that Oscar made when that guy skydove into and fell. It was a jetpack.
Yeah.
Was it a jetpack?
I don't remember actually.
That was crazy.
I don't know.
But it looked like Lewis was saying something and he kind of like made the face and I was like, wait, what did he? Anyway, I want to go back and rewatch it. But
Oscar, what a king.
He's just so funny. And then when he said the thing about the clean air, goes without saying, but clean air is king.
About clean
I was
air.
like, my
he
God.
was obsessed with clean
Get
air.
an oxygen tank. Like, I don't know.
Clean air.
And like, I get it, but yeah.
He said on the radio, clean air is king.
Yeah, well, he said it goes without saying.
Just like cash.
I know. I thought they would talk about that, but obviously Lewis didn't hear it. Maybe they'll talk about it later.
Anything? Oh, we didn't talk about, or we didn't mention Gunter asking Lewis if he could fight for the championship.
What an incredibly terrible question.
All the way down. I have the
when
numbers. Okay, so yeah, Max is at 275. Lewis is at 143. I don't think so,
and
bro.
Lewis just goes, no. Also, Toto, did he seem weird?
Oh, yeah, he's just seemed, I think he was happy. I think he was happy. We saw him FaceTiming Susie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think part of it was, honestly, my read on it was he recognized it was touchy because George's victory was sort of at the expense of Lewis. It wasn't like, so it was a little bit,
it was tough.
If he had been just like, woohoo, like super happy, it would have been kind of like, not disrespectful to Lewis.
No, I get it.
That was my read on it, that maybe he was just sort of like, I'm very happy.
Neutral. Yeah.
This is great, but I'm not going to, he's never one to be, he's not like Zach Brown, like slapping people's backs.
He's not jogging to the podium celebration like he's running through the airport. That was so funny.
I know. And Zach, I wonder if he's going to get a tattoo for Oscar.
First of all, if he's going to keep doing this, he needs to get them smaller.
Well, I think it's just the first. I think my read was it was just for the first. It was Daniel's first. I
guess that's fair. So he'll just have 3 then. But where? Because Daniel's is on
one arm and Lando's is on the other arm.
So where's he gonna put the other one? On his shoulder?
They're both on his shoulder.
No, but like
like on his back. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
calf?
Oscar doesn't care. He seems like one who's just like, please don't get a tattoo for me.
That's so true.
Like, no.
And Lando's definitely like, you got one for him.
Yeah,
get one for me.
Lando's like, I don't like that you have Daniel on your arm, not me.
Neither does Zach.
What?
I said I don't think Zach likes
Zach's
it either.
Pissed. Zach hates this.
Fuming. He better not start doing it for IndyCar because then he'll just...
Yeah. Anyway. So Daniel loves it though. Daniel's happy that he had, he's permanently on Zach's body. Yeah. I don't know. I guess in some strange way. Anything else from the race you want to discuss? Any other things I'm missing? I mean,
there was a moment when George was like taking his helmet off and stuff that his tongue was just like everywhere. Really upsetting.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was pretty freaky. That was it.
Well, I'm trying to think of the other team. I mean, Haas was nowhere. Do you have the standings, the finishing standings? No.
I did forgot to take a picture of it. Sorry, I am operating.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not your fault.
Well, that's untrue.
I can pull it. I got it right here. So, I was just seeing who it came in. Yeah. So it was Hulk. Hulk was last of the finishers. Then Logan, Yuki, Valtteri, K-Mag, Gasly, Albon, Stroll, Ricardo, Ocon. Ocon got points. Got a point. Congratulations to him. Woo.
I mean that genuinely.
Yeah, it was good. They were fast they had good straight line speed.
I also feel like he was probably so excited for the Wolverine livery.
Oh yeah,
thing.
Because if Esteban's anything, he is a comic book. I actually saw somewhere that he was talking about how much he loves superhero movies and stuff, and how when he goes to these movies with like his family, he's the one who's after the movie's over. He's like, you guys have to sit down because there's going to be post-credit scenes and
whatever. He's a real one.
Respect for that.
I do want to see that movie, but I haven't seen any of the other ones.
I haven't seen any of them either, which is kind of weird. I feel like I would have, but yeah,
same.
I never have. We're now going to summer break. I'm sure we're going to get a bunch of vacation content.
Yeah.
Drivers in
wonder where everyone's
warm
going.
Locations, on boats, on yachts, visiting, probably going to Martin Garrix's festival shows.
It's like they hang out with Martin.
No.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. It's always fun to get some of the...
Is Tomorrowland a music festival?
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought it was random that they were a McLaren sponsor.
Oh, I know. Yeah, so that's always a fun thing to get to see what the drivers are up to. I mean, I think it was a couple years ago or maybe last year that Charles Leclerc had that terrible sunburn. Do you remember when he was like red?
Yeah.
Bright red.
Yeah, that was bad.
So maybe he'll have
Is this
that.
the same break that Christian had his barbecue?
Oh. I'm not sure.
That was weird.
That's a good...
He's less likely to have the same guests this time around.
He's not having a barbecue this year.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think. And then, so that'll be fun. We'll have episodes throughout the break. Maybe we'll take like a 1 week off. I don't know. We have to discuss or figure out like when all of our summer break content. I do think we need to have an episode depending news and what's going on this week. Like I feel like an episode next weekend is probably likely.
We'll keep you apprised.
We just don't know what to expect. So maybe there'll be a bunch of news. Maybe it'll be a fun episode. Who knows? Fan info, and then we'll get to the questions.
Yeah. So my fan, with respect, is that it's summer break. I needed it. I'm excited.
Now you can go out every Saturday night.
No. Now I can sleep and heal from this last Saturday night. But I want to miss it again for a little while.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. My fan. So the first one I was going to bring up was the So Predictable. It's not really my fan, but I said I'd bring it up again. So in the driver press conference this week, it was, I can't remember, Valtteri, Daniel, and Carlos, maybe Lance and somebody else. And the first question to Daniel was something like, is there going to, something about the driver change, Red Bull change, blah, 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 blah. And Daniel just goes, so predictable, Thomas. Like, predictable question. Then Carlos gets asked a question about like your seat for next season. And Carlos goes, so predictable, Thomas. And it was funny.
That is funny.
And, sometimes Carlos can make me laugh.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yep.
The other one my actual fan was, we saw during the opening ceremonies, Enchanté.
Oh, yes.
Now, obviously, wasn't for us, I don't believe.
No, probably
I do
not.
think it was because
it's a French word.
The Olympics are in Paris. I do have to say though that the amount of people that said they thought of us first rather than Daniel,
guys, it means so much.
You guys are real ones.
That is
you guys
so
are real ones. And
nice.
I think that might be our goal, is to try to get people to, we're like kind of taking over the brand for ourselves.
I hope we don't get a cease and desist.
That's iconic. If we get a cease and desist, that's going on
the wall.
On the wall. And we are keeping that
also,
forever.
people really loved the Olivia Rodrigo video.
Yeah, Hannah and I went to Olivia. That's why she has had such a big weekend.
I was booked and busy,
we
guys.
went to the concert on Friday with some other friends, and I had the idea of filming Daniel singing Olivia. Driver's
Olivia
license.
sings Olivia.
Yeah, and it worked out really well.
It did. It was executed flawlessly.
Yeah.
I was standing there, and the fact that, because you were the one who hit play, I wouldn't have I would have been so panicked.
Well, and the fact that she said, sing it.
Yeah,
and then he
true.
did. It worked out so perfectly. Excellent.
Such a banger.
Okay, your foe.
The cool down room made me feel anxious. That's really it. I felt everything else was fine. And then just on a personal note, my current
state of being.
Yeah.
Mine was that just personally, I was sad for Lewis. Like as a Lewis Hamilton stan, oh my gosh.
What?
Breaking news.
Stop.
George Russell might be disqualified for an underweight car.
I hate that shit so much.
Oh my God. Okay, sorry you guys. We're literally getting this.
We've never had breaking news before.
We've never had.
It's also not going to be as interesting when they listen tomorrow because they already know.
Okay. Yeah. George Russell's car was under the minimum weight after the Belgian Grand Prix. It's been referred to the stewards. A disqualification is likely. Shit.
Oh no, that's terrible. Underweight how?
Fuel. Probably.
But
here, I'm reading the stewards. I'm reading the stewards. Okay. After the race, car number 63 was weighed, and its weight was 798 kilograms, which is the minimum weight required by blah, blah, blah. After this, fuel was drained out of the car, and 2.8 liters of fuel was removed. The car was not fully drained according to the draining procedure submitted by the team. in their legality documents, the car was weighed again, and the weight was 795. The calibration of the outside and the inside scales was confirmed. So they hadn't removed the fuel when they initially weighed it, and then once they took it out, it was underweight. Oh my God.
That's tragic. Why does that stuff happen to George? Hasn't something like this happened to him before?
It happened
or did he get a win because of something like this?
Not that I can remember. I mean, it happened obviously not the weight disqualification, but...
Oh my God, that makes me so sad. That's my foe. That's so sad. I hate when wins are stolen from people.
Sorry, you guys, we're just getting this literally...
Okay, I'm confused. So it was underweight after the race, but it was fine before the race?
Yeah, so...
but I don't like... Okay.
Yeah, because cars have to have like minimum amount of fuel in the car. Like when the car is when the race is done, it can't have like it has to have it, like that's a part of the weighing process. And if you start the race with too like it that affects your starts and that so that's what's again, we're getting all this information in real time. Let me go through some other questions and I'll keep...
Your dad's gonna be disappointed.
I know.
Ugh, what a bummer, guys.
Fook.
And Lewis doesn't want to win that way.
No. Or does he?
I mean, he'll take the points, but it's not a victory in his eyes, you know?
Who would get the podium then? Charles Leclerc.
Well. And also that's shitty because
we get our...
I hate a DQ.
Lewis, Oscar, Charles Leclerc.
Oh, he was so... okay, I can't talk about it anymore.
Okay.
God, I'm so not well.
So not well.
I can't wait to take a nap.
Okay. Sorry, you guys. We're kind of getting all this.
That's crazy.
Is Ricciardo replacing Checo?
Yes.
I did just see it on Twitter. There is a video of Daniel in conversation with Christian Horner and Laurent Mekies.
Which, I mean, it's not that weird that they're talking to each other.
Not that weird, but
I'm going with yes. And I think it's going to be announced this week, and I think Netflix is going to be there to capture it all.
Well, Netflix was with Daniel this whole week. So.
Cool.
We shall...
Ooh, do you think they were on the plane?
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
That would be great. Actually, my dad was talking about how we should do like a March Madness bracket style thing of like the best quotes or things said on Drive to Survive. Now it would require a lot of, we'd have to get probably submissions from people and to remember everything that was said or all the best things that were said. And not to spoil anything if we end up doing it, I do think there's like a very clear and obvious winner. He does not fuck smash my door.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought he meant like just from the upcoming season.
No. He meant like all time, everything said on Drive to Survive. And I don't see a world where anything beats that because it's very iconic. Suck my balls, mate. Very close.
Yeah.
Something Yuki said, I'm sure is probably like up there.
Sure.
I'll take that. Even though it's not really like funny. It's just
if you know, you know.
If it's like meaningful. But so I don't know why I brought that up. Oh, Drive to Survive. Anyway, okay. Do we think Lewis is concerned about Ferrari now that Mark is improving and Ferrari is just meh?
No, I think he's ready for a change.
I think, yeah. And as we've said too, I mean, it's just because they're doing better right now doesn't mean they're going to be doing better next year.
Yeah.
And again, with the regulations coming up and the changes happening, there's so many unknowns that I think it's good.
I also think it's nice that he's just going to go out of Mercedes on a high note, potentially, like he finally got another win under his belt and, he's back on the podium again. I just think it's a good way for him to end his time with Mercedes, but I think he needs a rest and a break.
Someone just wrote, "Goodbye, Checo." It's not funny. I do feel bad. Bad.
Of course.
And if I was a Checo fan, I would just be...
That's a funny thing to say.
It is funny.
I have empathy for the human being, but that's a funny thing to say.
Yes.
And I don't think Checo... I mean, honestly, it was a longer burn, but it's the same thing that's happened with Alex and Pierre. Like, he needs a new home. Better fit elsewhere. Yeah. He just, it's too much for him now.
Right.
And that's why I'm so pro Daniel in the seat, because he's been there, done that before.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
He's gone through so much that he's willing to accept the challenges that come at being number 2 in the Red Bull.
And also kind of like, this is my last hurrah.
Yeah.
You know?
Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
fuck them all.
As you said, this is where he has been the most comfortable in his career.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just do what's right, Red Bull.
For once. Literally. You've done very little right this whole...
Well, one person in particular.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
it's like
yeah,
you've, you know...
Yeah.
Yeah, yikes.
Woof.
Woof indeed. God, dang it. I'm just waiting for I don't know that we're going to get an answer while we're recording.
About what?
About George.
Oh, that was so dramatic. I blocked it out.
Okay, well, someone tweeted who he writes for The Race, which is a F1 publication, walked past George Russell just after he'd left the press conference. He was on the phone and had a face like thunder. Now it's obvious why he was being told that this news, it will be disqualification.
Face
this was 20
like thunder.
20 minutes ago, but
what a sentence.
Oh, okay. So Ruth Buscombe, who's awesome,
legend,
strategist, works for F1 TV now. She tweeted, she retweeted the stewards document thing. Could be a lot of things. Something's gone wrong with change of spec and no dry running to calibrate. No in-lap here to pick up rubber doesn't help. Could be a late night for the stewards. I don't know what that means.
That's good, because
and then
I worry that made
Chris
sense
Medland retweeted Ruth and said, suggestion from Wolf backs up Ruth's point about excessive tire wear on the one stop and the weight across 4 tires potentially being a factor here. So the car had lost so much weight from the tire wear because they only did a one-stop race that actually was that bless you.
Excuse me.
That affected the weight of the car at the end of the race.
So it will be a late night for the stewards because they'll be having to unpack this while being yelled at by Toto Wolff for the next 7 hours. They should have just not said anything.
Yeah. Don't say anything when...
Face like thunder.
Yeah.
You can see it. I know the exact face George was making. He's fuming.
Well, I don't know. Do we just like end it here because we know?
I mean, we have to. What are we supposed to do? We don't know what's going to happen. We could sit here for the next half hour talking about nothing. But even then, we may never know.
We may never know. Well,
well, I mean, today.
No, I know. It's just kind of a weird way to end because like maybe George won, maybe George didn't.
But in fairness, they already know.
It doesn't seem like George is going to win. It does. I'm getting the sense that he will be disqualified.
Sometimes the sport can just.
So you guys,
off.
I mean, this is very exciting. You guys have gotten this all. Our experience all in real time as we're getting this information.
My mom's going to be so upset. They actually watched this morning without me.
Whoa.
I know. She was like, we have the race on. I was like, honestly, I can't be. I have to be in my bed. Thank you. And she was like, what did she say? She was like, it was fun to watch the same team win and that they let them actually race. And I was like, first of all, don't talk shit about Oscar like that. Okay.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah. You're new here. Okay. Pipe down. And yeah, she's going to be really disappointed. My dad's going to be like, what?
Well,
it's so nice that they watch.
Okay.
Now.
Someone said, I'm a Lando fan, but the fandom is so toxic at times.
Yeah. It's the Gen Z effect. No, look. And I mean this in like a non-generational way because it's like the
boy bandification.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the boy bandification.
It happened during One Direction.
Yeah.
It happened during 5 Seconds of Summer.
Yeah.
It's just, it's
because
feral.
He's young, the fandom skews young.
Yeah. It's a feral place.
And it can get very like hero worshipy and what's the word I'm looking for? Parasocial
incredibly
relationship.
Yeah, I would just avoid interacting with any of them on Twitter. TikTok feels safer.
It's safer, but still, it can just
just stay out of the comments with Lando edits.
It's just
better.
Try have your favorite driver be a millennial.
Okay, you of all people know you can't just switch your favorite driver, Zoe. Okay, that's just actually not how it works.
I said try.
Yeah.
Try, okay?
Just think about it.
Just try, because it's a little bit less feral.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit less feral. That's all. You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. Also, I think it's actually from like last month, but the TikTok of Fernando when he was like pressed record and then like ran to the back and then like pretended like he was just sauntering through.
Yeah,
I just love him.
Yeah,
that's it. We were talking about being feral, and I just thought that that's pretty much a synonym for Fernando Alonso. And
hilarious.
Made me think of it.
All right, guys. Well,
that's that on that.
That's kind of that on that.
I hope, if you're happy, I'm happy for you. If I just
bummer
it's like,
for George.
It's like excited that Lewis gets the points. He's still. I wonder if Gunter wants to re-ask his question now. Now that
that would mean actually though too.
Oh, that Checo's still ahead of.
That Checo would be ahead of
George.
I don't know that
it won't change a thing. Because George still won. He's getting DQ'd on a technicality potentially.
Yeah, I mean he would still be 7th. So
justice for George. I'm sorry. Someone needs to do some investigation into this. That's wild.
Get your ass to spa. Get on a plane.
Well, I don't know what they're talking about. Like obviously the
your
car's lighter. The fuel went away. They used it. But that's like I know there's more involved.
It's evaporated. You guys, I don't know what to say.
Like it's gone. Of course it is. Look, I know that I'm just making a fool out of myself. But
well, okay.
Anyway, I think the whole
stay tuned for the pyramid tomorrow because we may, we can maybe take a beat and just potentially see if anything comes out. We still may not know have any news, but maybe we'll have some more answers. Looks like we may have to change some things on the board. So stay tuned for that. And as always, I mean, we will recap all of this. This will give us something to discuss in next week's episode, should there not be any other news to discuss.
If there's no other news to discuss by next week, this sport isn't doing their job.
All right, guys. We appreciate you guys so much for listening. Like, honestly, truly, I was thinking about this the other day. I know I'm going on.
No, I love it.
But I was thinking about this, that like there's thousands of people every week that voluntarily get on their phone and press play or go to YouTube and press play and actually choose to listen to us speak
so nice.
every week about this sport that like we clearly know nothing about.
And of course it's lighter. Like what am I even talking about?
And we are just very grateful for you guys. It really, and like we've gotten people messaging us. We got someone who messaged us saying that they have played our podcast with their like nannying this summer and they play it with their kids. I'm always like, ooh, we gotta watch our language a little bit, but like just
that's really
it's
sweet.
Very sweet.
That's
and
nice.
We just are very grateful for you guys that actually choose to listen to us.
Yeah.
Have a great summer break.
Yeah.
Enjoy your break.
We'll be around.
Enjoy the Olympics. Have a great time watching all of that. It's going to be so fun. And we'll see you guys next time on Shantae.